It's going to be Ethan Strand to beat Ingebrigtsen and Co. 3:48.3. Second Olympics. Cole Hooker is an Olympic champion.
The NCAA has recently exploded. It used to be a place for high-level high school athletes to develop, be a part of a team, and get coached, all while getting an education, has turned into an elite league that chews up anyone unprepared and spits out Olympic-level talent. This progression is thought to just be a natural timeline in technology, science, and coaching, helping athletes to compete at a top level. However, others would point the finger and blame the allowance of older athletes to compete against kids straight out of high school, leading to a school like Oklahoma State dominating cross-country with a roster of almost all Kenyans, or a team like BYU to win a national championship with a top runner with a wife and kids. This explosion of running within the NCAA has led many to point fingers as to why they are not as successful as they think they should be.
There's guys who are older, there's guys who are foreign, whatever. You've got to sack up.
Others have risen to the occasion, riding the wave to greatness. One name in particular has been especially interesting, and his story has resembled that of a hero. But how does one navigate this hostile landscape? What drives them? What gives someone the courage to keep going despite their entire environment getting turned upside down? Is the desire a logical decision, or driven by something that lies deeper within the individual?
I gotta do it, Karen. I gotta take a shot. That guy got to me today.
In order to analyze someone we call a hero, we may need to travel back in time to middle school and consult Joseph Campbell's The Hero's Journey. Stage 1, The Call to Adventure.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
It all started with a jacket. It always starts so small. I started running cross country for the PE credit. I didn't want to get in too deep, but then I saw the good guys pull up with that thin black jacket. And for the first time in my life, I wanted something no one else could give me.
Nobody's ever gone the distance with Creed. And if I can go that distance, I'm gonna know for the first time in my life, see, that I weren't just another bum from the neighborhood.
The jacket was the first thing that leads Yaseen to really try and get good and push beyond what the normal person would do, hence being his call to adventure. Stage 2, meeting with the mentor.
I asked to be great, and I got put on a team with one of the best high schoolers in the country, so that I couldn't lie to myself about what true greatness was, because I saw it every day.
Yaseen was able to run with some of the best runners in the state, mentoring him to be better than he ever could. Stage 3, crossing the threshold.
Son, you know, once you start, there's no going back.
The next step is crossing to a new world, into the world of the NCAA. Stage 4, tests, allies, and enemies.
Things always go wrong before they go right.
Yaseen had plenty of tests in his time in the NCAA.
You'd go crazy, right? You run 7:30. You run 7:34. These guys come.
The first 2 years,
See,
he didn't even
you go
run
crazy.
due to an injury and COVID. Yaseen missed nationals individually his junior year with a 5K and 3K time that in other years would have easily qualified. Still, Yaseen prevailed. At the 2022 Indoor National Championships, he split a 3:55 1600 meter in the anchor leg of the distance medley relay to help Texas win the event. But Yaseen believed he could be better, and he still wasn't satisfied. His next year, he would transfer to Tennessee, working with one of the best distance runners and coaches in the country to push him to be even better. He kept improving. In the 2023 indoor season, his 7:42 3K moved him into the NCAA top 10 times, while also setting a Sudanese national record and a school record. However, his placing at top national meets stayed sadly stagnant, having multiple finishes outside the top 10 or just within it, highlighting how fast the NCAA as a whole was improving. Stage 5, approach to the innermost cave. Yaseen would transfer again his 6th year to the University of Arkansas, teaming up with a super team of South Africans, a team that would give him a chance to finally get a team title in cross country and maybe push him to an individual title in track. Stage 6, the ordeal.
Neiman.
By the time Yaseen got to his 6th year, it was maybe too late. Yaseen ran his best race at the NCAA Cross Country Nationals, but still missed the podium, a South African with a lost shoe finishing ahead of him. Some would point fingers, but not Yaseen.
It's guys who are about to get cut from their teams for this SEC rule who are complaining about Kenyans. You know, I mean, Brian's not doing anything to you. You suck. Brian's good.
Yaseen kept working, and in his next race in indoor track, he broke the NCAA record in 3K. Unfortunately for Yaseen, so did 3 other men in the same race, and 2 of them finished ahead of him. In earlier years, Yaseen's times would have made him a force to be reckoned with, but in this day and age, he was just another guy. Still, going into indoor nationals, Yaseen had the chance to go out with a bang. He was seated 3rd in the 3K and had a good chance of winning. He also had a great chance to podium in the 5K. But in his final races of his NCAA career, he got lapped, falling flat once again, finishing outside the podium and outside the top 10. So much improvement, but what for?
You know, everyone's lining up asking for pictures and I'm in 11th. It's a small comfort. You know, I watch the interviews after the races and mine have the most views.
But I tried. I actually fucking tried. And that's more than most people ever do. And I will never apologize for how I tried.
Yaseen finished his NCAA career an All-American, a national champion, a Paris Olympian, and an inspiration to many. Maybe if the NCAA didn't explode like it did, he would have been able to accomplish more. But maybe that's just the nature of sports. But why did he keep going when it got hard? He always pushed and believed he could have been one of the greats. What kept him going? Why does Yaseen or other archetypal heroes do this? Is it because a logical decision in the brain, or is it a more emotional decision?
But the difference between me and the others is I get sad and I keep training. And I wonder what went wrong and I keep training. And I think about whether it's worth it and I keep training.
Yaseen's navigation through the NCAA could be seen as irrational. Why would someone try so hard to improve when it becomes increasingly clear that they may never get what they wanted, and they have to sacrifice so much?
I got faster, and it never hurt less, and it never got easier. National titles, school records, the Olympics, fastest times in history. This is the good. I'm starting to realize this is what other people remember. It will never be enough. And that feeling of wanting more is a blessing and a curse.
People like R.R. McCauley would argue that while courage does involve rational decision-making, it is often the intense emotional experience such as the need to protect loved ones, uphold moral values, or fight against perceived injustice that truly sparks courageous acts. These emotional motivators can overpower fear and lead individuals to act despite the risks. Perhaps it was Yaseen's value for greatness and competition that kept him going. Maybe for heroes, it's koinophobia, or the fear of being mediocre that pushes those far beyond what people would call rational. The role of emotion in courageous behavior by Pellegrini in 2016 would suggest that emotions like fear are fundamental to courageous acts. However, more people would argue that our actions have to be rooted in something more rational. Immanuel Kant argues that moral acts, including courageous ones, should be guided by rational principles. Courageous acts that are grounded in logic could be seen as fulfilling a moral duty or a sense of justice, where a person acts out of a sense of duty, as opposed to emotion or impulse.
If I have to hear one more time that you did this for the family.
I did it for me. I liked it.
In Kahneman's Thinking Fast and Slow, Kahneman discusses how human decision-making often involves a balance between intuitive, fast, and deliberative, slow thinking. Courageous actions can come from the deliberative, rational thought process where one assesses the benefits of facing a fear or danger and decides logically that the long-term reward outweigh the immediate discomfort or risk. However, for something to have a logical reason, there must be an answer to a why statement. Why do heroes put their life at risk? Why do we get up in the morning? Why does Yaseen keep going despite all these struggles? For the answer to the last question, let's just ask Yaseen.
Why put in all the effort to to run in a circle a few minutes faster than the average person? Why not do something easier? Something different? I'm way past why. How do I do it? Why put in all the effort to run in a circle a few minutes faster than the average person? Why not do something easier? Something different? I'm way past why.